friends, it's Chris from BoBunny. Welcome back to our second online class. And can I just say thank you so much for all of the love and comments that you made and suggestions. You made the class so much fun that I'm so excited to be back. This month's class is this album called Just Give Me a Kiss. And don't worry, I'll give you lots of close-ups. This was made by Robbie Herring on our design team. She's a cute mom from Texas. She will have been married 25 years in August. They have 2 kids that are in their early 20s. She likes to drink sweet tea with crushed ice in a styrofoam cup. She says she's rarely seen without one, and her husband likes to call that drink her precious. She has a blog, and that is robbiesphotoblog.blogspot.com. So go show her some love, and tell her how much you love the album. And wait till you see it. You're going to fall in love with it. I want you all to be able to reach through the camera and touch it. It is so much fun. I had a blast making it. So before we get started, I just want to say that I searched everywhere for Helmer's 450 and could not find it in Utah. So Helmer's people, if you're out there or you know anyone that's out there, we need some of this in Utah. We don't have any. So I ordered mine from a Cherry on Top, and I got it, and you all were right. It is basically perfect. So it's my #1 choice. My new #1 choice is Helmer's 450 Quick Dry. Has this cute little lid that opens and you shut it so that it stays dry. Dries quick, it's not too messy, love it. So thank you for all of the tips, and again for enabling me to spend more money because I enjoy that. Okay, so today for the album, we aren't going to work on a specific page. You can't see it, but I'm going to show you close up in a little bit. But on each page, she's bordered with glitter or some cute trim with pom-poms or this little rick-rack. Absolutely adorable. So for week 1, we're going to go through and put all the trims and all the glitter on our pages so that that's dry for next week and ready for us to put everything else on. We're going to tie all our little bows. There's lots of little bows tied with baker's twine. So we're going to tie all those little bows. We're going to tie all our ribbon bows. We're going to make these cute little lollipops that are inserted in the back. They're made with straws. So we're just going to do a lot of prep work that's going to make the next 3 weeks a lot easier. So I'm going to let you know what we're going to use this week. You're going to want a piece of blush double dot paper, a piece of your smoochable stripes, and smoochable words. We're going to be using the dot side for a lot of our photo mats. You're going to want your buttons, and we're going to tie the strings to the buttons. I didn't mention that. Your buttons, your brads, of course your album, your dimensional stickers, and the noteworthy. Along with a lot of, that's just the BoBunny product that you're going to need. We're also going to need our glitters and glues and trims. About the trims, if you haven't done your shopping yet, let me just give you a hint, because I did a lot of searching for these darling trims that she used. And they are not in the ribbon area. They're in the sewing area. This I found where you would buy bias tape. So I just found that at a local little sewing store. And then at Joann's I found these others, this little purple pom-pom and the brown rick-rack in their sewing. It's over in the fabric section. So that was just a hint. If you've already done all the searching like I did, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you sooner. So go ahead and get all of your pages to your album out. That's where we're going to start. Okay, before we get started, I have 2 things to tell you or ask you. One thing to tell you, one thing to ask you. If you haven't done it already, I'm not sure if it was on the instructions, but the binder rings that are in this album are not big enough when we're done because it's so chunky and fun. So you'll need to get some rings that are 1.5 inches, 2 of those. So at some point before we put the album together at the end of February, you'll want to get those, 2 of those. And the other thing is, for March, the album's already designed, and I'm excited for you to see it. It's out of the Enchanted line, and we have to do it so far in advance that's why it's already done. But I would like to know what kind of projects you would like to have classes on. Do you want them to remain albums? Would you like to see maybe a class where we do layouts every week, or cards, or some kind of altered project? So leave me a comment either on our YouTube or on the blog or Facebook, and let me know what kind of projects you would like to see. Okay, first thing we're going to do is on page 1, we are going to glue on the brown rickrack around the edge. What I like to do is to get my adhesive and just do a fine line around, and then start my ribbon and just kind of press it as I go. I found an easy way to keep your string from landing in the other glue is to loop it over your arm so that it's kind of in the air as you go, and then it doesn't fall into the excess glue that's around. And I found at points I thought, oh, this looks so messy, this is going to be the messiest album ever. No one's ever going to watch again, they're going to think, what a Fruit Loop. But it actually turns out well when it's done. The glue dries dry and it's not tacky or sticky at all. Again, on the points I just folded over, put a little extra adhesive in there. I ended a tiny bit short, but it's not going to be a problem because I'm going to put a bow on it, so you're not even going to see it. So on these next 2 pages, she's just used the clear glitter, but to make it show up a little bit more, we take a white pen and we're going to draw a line around the edges, and then we'll put the glitter on over that. Okay, if you're like me and you're a little picky, I don't like to be super picky, but if you're a little picky, I like to just take a paintbrush, and any of those edges that kind of are squamped that you don't really love, I just take a paintbrush and just kind of smooth them out. Or like right there, I missed my white line, so I'm just going to kind of push my glitter over on top of it. And I usually just brush that off on my hand when I look glittery. And really, it doesn't matter. The glue's going to dry and it's just going to leave that glitter there. Just if you have some that you're not totally in love with. So that's a fun little tip. Just make sure that you wash out your brush, because that is glue that you're putting in there. And now that our front side will be dry, because our amazing glue will be dry now, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, done with that, and we're going to move on to the next pages. Now I'm going to skip this side for right now because that side's drying, and I'm going to move on to these 2 pieces, which are my favorite, that open up and make a heart. So let's grab those 2 pieces, and we're going to put on the trims and then the brown trim, and then we'll do the glitter so that it can dry. So the first one with the purple, it's got kind of a flat edge there, so it works out perfect, and I put the glue on and then kind of maneuver the trim on afterwards, and you put it right on the edge. It's going to go right on the edge of that. After you basically get it on there, you can just go back and push it down and shape it if it gets a little bit misshaped. And then once you're done with that, you have the perfect base. You're just going to put glue right here on the bottom of the purple, and then we're going to put the green on. Okay, for the baker's twine, you'll want your glue line to be just a little bit thinner because the twine's a little bit thin, but you're just going to go right on the very, very edge of your page. it's just going to kind of nest right on the base of those little pom-poms. Okay, on this one, just for fun, we're doing a little rickrack of our own, a little glitter rickrack. So you're just going to just kind of zig that back and forth. And just remember that no one's going to see my book or no one's going to see your neighbor's book. So if your zigs are bigger than the next person's, it's not a big deal. Gives your album character. Just remember, there are no mistakes at BoBunny. We only add character. Robbie's zigzag on her original album is very tiny, very precise. So we'll set that one aside to dry. And we're going to move on to this page. And I can't really just say the bracket page because they're all brackets. So that next to the last page, it's purple on the one side and then the cream on the other side. On this one, we're not doing it exactly on the edge. We're leaving a little bit of an edge there. So don't put your glue right on the edge. The corners, I kind of hold the corner down while I shape the rest of it, just so it gets a second to dry and stick there. So just kind of hold that corner down. Yeah, that was a good one. Kind of shape your twine around and it will kind of stick to the glue. All right, this time we're going to use our pink glitter. And I've done some and let it dry to show you that the glue dries and you're just left with the glitter. So the excess glue and stuff that glubbers over, you don't even see it. So don't stress when you're doing this. It's nothing to get stressed over. This is supposed to be fun. All right, and on our last page, they're both glitter, so let's just do one side and we'll let it dry and we'll go back and see if another one's ready. Okay, so once the glitter's dry on that side, give it a little bit to dry, then flip those over and do clear on the green and then brown on the pink. And if you don't have brown glitter, you could get a brown pen and trace and then use your clear over top of your brown pen. I even thought if I would have had a cute green pen, maybe to do a green line under my glitter on my green pages. So have fun with it. Try some stuff out. If you find something that's really fun, post it on our Facebook, show us, or write a message and let us know. We want to see the fun things you guys do. Okay, next we're going to move on to tying bows. So you're going to want to get out your twine. I have a dark pink and a light pink, a brown, a green, and a purple. If you don't have that many colors and you want to just do it in 3 colors or 2 colors or 1 color, that's up to you. But we did use 5 colors. And on these bows, I'm going to give you a couple ideas. So when you tie a little bow, these ends come untwined. So there's a couple things you can do. One is you can tie a knot at the end, but remember that you have to be patient to do this. But you can tie a little knot right at the end so that your bow, that ties that off and that doesn't, it doesn't let it fray. The next one is, if you take a piece of wax paper and put your bow down, I use this fabric stiffener by Aleene's. You can dip that and just kind of paint over your entire bow and paint over the ends if you're not tying little knots, or you can do both. And then your bow's not floppy. So it's like exercising. There's low impact. You can just tie a bow, leave the ends, let them fray, adds character, not a big deal. You can do medium impact and just paint a little stiffener on those so that it doesn't fray. Or you can do high impact and tie little knots and do fabric stiffener. And then your bows are set for life. No matter how many times you look through that album, they're not going anywhere. So we are going to tie out of the twine. These little flakes that you see are just the fabric stiffener, but you just crunch it off. It's not a big deal at all. It just flakes right off. We're going to tie 7 brown bows, 4 green bows, 4 light pink, 2 purple, and 1 dark pink. If you only have 1 shade of pink, then you'll want 5 pink bows. So hopefully you watched last time and learned how to make a flat bow. However, let me show you in Robbie's book. Some of her bows, the ends go opposite ways. See here, this guy, the ends both go down, but on this little guy, his ends go one way and the other. So it's up to you. It doesn't matter if you want to do a flat bow with both tails going down, or if you want to just tie it so that they go either way. So just have fun with it. And these are in buttons, and we're going to do those in a minute after we tie all our other little bows. Okay, so I have all my little bows ready. 7 brown, 4 green, 4 light pink, 1 dark pink, or 5 pink, and 2 purple. So I'm just going to set those aside till I need those. Now we're going to work on the buttons. And I have made a little map for you on what we're going to do to each button, and I will show you that. So if you look at your buttons, this one needs a purple knot, this one needs a green bow, this one needs a purple knot, a green knot, a purple bow, a purple knot, a pink knot, a green knot, and a dark pink knot. So I'll show you that. So you'll have some that need purple knots. You have 2 buttons that need green bows. It's the purple heart and the pink guy. You'll need some pink knots. And the holes are big enough and the twine is little enough that they're super easy. You don't need a needle or anything. You just can twist the little end and it will tie right through. So just tie your knots. I went through the ones that had 4 holes. I went through both. And then just set your buttons aside and your buttons will be finished. Okay, now we are going to tie all of our bows, and I'm going to tell you how many you'll need. Okay, so you need one brown, large, 2 large green, 2 small green, and 1 green that's just a knot, 2 large purple, 1 small purple, 1 small pink, and 1 chiffon. So make all those and then set those aside, and they'll be done next week when we work on our pages. All right, do you remember how to make the flat bow? Loop, come from behind and over, go up flat through that hole, and then just kind of pull tight and get it to the right size. The cool thing about double dot ribbon is it really doesn't matter as much as with other ribbons because the dots are on both sides. So you don't have one tail without dots and one tail with. But with the flat ribbon method, even with your printed ribbon, it works perfecto every time. Good. Next thing we're gonna do is make the cute pocket that holds those lollipops. On our last page right here, we're gonna make this pocket. So you're going to need a piece of blush double dot that is 2.5 inches by 4. And your dot side is going to be 2 inches by 4. And I'm going to show you why. We're going to put a decorative edge on the top of our pink. So 2.5 by 4 and 2 by 4. And then if you notice, we're going to sew in here. So on our 2.5 by 4, we're going to do a decorative edge. And you can use any edge you want. Just use whatever punch you have at home so that you get that decorative edge. And then we're going to put those together. And you've got that cute little border. Now, there are many ways to make your holes and sew. So if you have an easier way, you should share it with us or, use it. I'm going to show you how I did it. I'm going to use, this is from the Brad packaging. I was going to show you a full one, but I can't find one. But the Brads are in here, like this. So I just have an empty one. And then you need a poker, piercer. And I have this ruler, and I don't know whose ruler it is exactly. I was trying to see if I could tell you who it was. The See-Through Ruler Company in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Oh, it has these little dots right there, and it has it on a line. So I make sure that my papers are matched up. And then I just put the edge of the ruler at the edge of my papers. And then I'm just going to pierce through those holes. And that's going to give me my sewing holes. Then you're going to want to thread a needle with some pink thread. And then we'll stitch it. Before I actually sew, I'm just going to sand these edges just a tiny bit. Not even really much, just give it a little bit of a finished edge. All right. If you don't know how to do this stitch, and I call it a back stitch. I don't know if that's its technical name. And I'm lazy. I'm not going to tie a knot and try and make that fit. I'm just going to tape it on with some Scotch tape. But you're going to go through your first hole and then up through the next hole and then go back to that hole. So you're going to go up 2 and back 1. So now I'm going to go up 2 holes and back 1. All right, to make our lollipops, you're going to need the heart out of your Noteworthy, this little purple sucker out of your Layered Dimensionals. You're going to need a couple straws. I found a package that was pink and green, so I'm going to choose green for this one. They're both equally cute. And Robbie's were striped green and white, and they're equally as cute, so just some straws that match. Cut those at about 3.5 inches, which is pretty much in half. And then we're going to cut a second heart out of a piece of paper because we don't want the back to be ugly when people pull it out and look at it. So get it just a small piece of your stripe paper, trace it on the back side so that your pencil lines aren't there, and then our heart will have a stripe side and the heart side. I'm just gonna glue my straw on so it can start drying. And right where these meet, you're going to smash it flat. You probably need a touch more glue. You have to open the glue. It's very vital if you want to use it. And then I'm just going to smash it flat and kind of let it dry flat because we're going to put a brad through there. And again, this glue is kind of nice. It just, even on my table, just rub and it will just ball up, and then I can wipe it away when it's still slightly wet. You don't want to let it completely dry. Okay, well that one's drying a little bit. I'm going to get this sticker out and stick it on there as well. I don't want the top of this to be sticky so that it sticks to my page. So I'm just going to take that scrap paper and this might take an extra minute, but it's worth it to me. I'm going to stick it on here and then cut it out just so that the top's not sticky and it's cute. You can also use baby powder. Sometimes when I'm scrapping with a lot of stickers, I'll just keep one of those little mini size baby powders. I just keep one with my scrapbook stuff actually. And you just sprinkle a little bit on a page and then you just put your sticker in that and it takes the stick away and smells good. Okay, so I just made a little back on him, and then it has adhesive, but since it's a straw, I'm going to give it a little more, just for good measure. And same thing, I'm just going to kind of smash it so it can dry on there. Alright, now that this one's kind of dry, I'm going to use my foam again and poke a hole for my brad. I poked a couple. And then just choose a brad. I'm going to choose this one because it matches. Has a little heart. Matchy matchy. Got my little brad on there. And this one. And now we are just going to tie some purple baker's twine around this one and some pink baker's twine around this one so they have little bows. Now where my knot is sitting at the bottom, it could very easily slide off of my straw. So I am actually just going to put a little bit of glue right there. And I think when I'm done with my album, I will find a leftover sticker that will cover the brad back and my glue. So I'll put some kind of little round sticker right there to cover that because I like things to look finished and polished. But I'm going to wait till I find out what I have left over. And then you can also sand around these edges to kind of make them look finished. Alright, ta-da! Those are ready to go in our pocket. So just set those aside because that's going to be on week 4 that we're going to get to that. But now they're ready to go. One last thing for this week is if you'll pull out your 12 by 12 chipboard, there's a piece in there that needs to be glittered. So it's the center piece and you're going to glitter on the outside of the brown line. So just glitter that up and then set that aside to dry. Okay, so that's it for week 1. That was a lot of prep work and a lot of bow tying, I know, but it will be worth it. Because then when we get to these pages, all we'll have to do is plunk them on, and you will be so happy that you took care of all that. So hopefully you're all keeping up, and thanks again for stopping into BoBunny. We appreciate you, and I will talk to you next week.